Welcome back. So now I'm going to talk about our final ICE, which is write a test function for using Unittest for quadratic for a quadratic function. Okay, so first download the test quadratic from the LMS. This file has some is a test. It contains a class. This module contains a class called test quadratic. Okay, this class is inherited from a class called test case, which comes from the module called Unittest. Unittest, well, Spider just automatically telling me, what it is. Basically, it's a Python unit testing framework. Okay. Within this class, there are gonna be some methods. These methods, I think we will talk about maybe later on. Anyway, the idea of assembling functions within a class, sometimes it's a very important character of object-oriented programming, but we don't have to go too much details here. All you need to know is these test functions will contain assert statement to verify if the function is behaving what we expected. So for example, the quadratic underscore roots is a function in the module of quadratic, and we just imported on line 3, and now we're going to write a test function to check if this is correct or not. Okay, so let's go back to the IC. Okay, so so for the first one, test no roots, we don't have to do anything about it. It's already there. As you can see, what it does is basically it calls a function given a set of parameters that we know corresponds to a equals to 1, b equals to 0, and c equals to 1. Okay, so what does that mean? Well, that means we're looking for the quadratic roots of ax squared plus bx plus c. Okay, so that basically means let me just write it down. That's basically x squared plus 1 equals to 0. Obviously, we know there are only pure imaginary roots for this. There's no real solution. Okay, so therefore the roots should return a list of empty. So you should return an empty list. You can see here it says you need to return an empty list when there's no roots, which means the length of this list should be 0. Okay, so this is basically where we're asserting. This is a behavior that we expect, and we assert it is true. If it is not true, then you have a problem. Then then whoever wrote these quadratic roots will have a problem. He or she has to be blamed. Okay, so next, our job for today is to figure out how to write the test function inside the test quadratic class for 1 root and 2 roots cases. Okay, so the idea to start with, well, since the no roots actually give us an example, we can just easily follow this by easily come up with an example where there's only 1 root. So for example, this one. So then we can just call the function just like before, and now we're gonna just say the b is 0 again, but we change the sign of c. Okay, and what we expect is, of course, first the length of the roots should be 1. The second thing is almost equal. We want to make sure the roots is nothing but 1.0. Okay, done. The next thing we want to do here is how about let's try this case. It has a roots of x1 equals to 2, x2 equals to 3. So what we want to do is again, I'm gonna, oops, sorry, should be appeared here. It's 1 minus 5 and then the plus 6. Okay, so the roots, so here we first wanted to make sure that the length of this guy is 2. Okay, the second thing we want to make sure, we want to check is, I want to check whether the roots are 2 and 3. Okay, so here is an issue here. We wanted to we don't know the order of 2 and 3 in the roots, right? Because we're not the guy who is writing that. So here's the thing. I'm gonna write an if statement. If the roots 0 is larger than roots 1, then I think the roots 1 should the roots 0 should be 3, and the roots 1 should be 2. Okay, else if otherwise it should be 2 and 3. Okay, that's it. That's how you write the test function using Unittest for testing the functionality of quadratic roots. Alright, thank you everyone. I hope to see you on Friday.